The Golden Road was a term that was coined 2015 for a team, that has managed to walk the Golden Road all the way, means that they've won every major tournament that they could participate in from a major region, tier 1. Meaning, of course, LPL, LCK, LEC, LCS, whatever you want to call it. If they won a team, Spring, MSI, Summer, Worlds, they have then achieved the Golden Road. This was something that was borrowed and inspired from chess, winning the Grand Slam, meaning 4 Grand Slam tournaments, Australian Open, Wimbledon, US Open, and all that jazz. Winning that within a calendar year meant that you have achieved the Grand Slam, which was, of course, very difficult. And in League, it's obviously very difficult too. In the context of League, the teams that come close, people measure it very differently. Some people say the Golden Road ends the moment that you lose, which is fair because it's not possible. But sometimes the distance of the game, winning one game, maybe if you won Spring Split here, maybe you would have won everything, right? In the context of some of the teams that were on that run, SK Telecom back in season 5, the first one, they won Spring, won Summer, won Worlds, but one game away from beating EDG, meant that they didn't, of course, achieve the Golden Road. 2016, you had SK Telecom winning Worlds, MSI, Spring, Summer playoffs. They didn't make it, lost to KT, and of course, someday in the playoffs with Arrow and so forth. There are other examples. You have, of course, JDG. They won Spring Split, Summer Split, MSI, lost to T1 in, of course, the semi-finals. They hadn't lost a single best of 5 that split, and they were a big favorite to, of course, win the competition. 2019, this is the team that people say is the most technically close because they made the distance and they were at the end of the Golden Road before it was actually concluded. They were winning Spring, of course, one Spring, one MSI G2, and then one Summer as well, and made it all the way to World Finals, where they lost to, of course, FPX in a humiliating fashion. But they made the distance and they could practically smell the end of the Golden Road, something that nobody else achieved. And there's other examples. 2018, RNG, one Spring, MSI, one Summer. And then, of course, they lost to G2 at the World Championship. They were a big favorite coming into this tournament, which, of course, brings me to today's conversation. The main thing that we've had going for the last 9 years is that the calendar has been intact. Meaning we've had Spring, MSI, Summer, Worlds. For the LEC, we had Winter being introduced a year before. You have EWC, which isn't like a Riot tournament, even though they are fully supported. They just don't slap their name on it and broadcast it through their own channels. The point and the main reason why I bring this up is that to maintain the sanctity of what the Golden Road represents, and to be able to look down at history and make an apt comparison, I think it's important that now, as the calendar year is changing, to actually highlight the correct tournaments. More tennis tournaments never changed what the Grand Slam represented. There were always 4 tournaments within the Grand Slam, and I think the same thing should be true for the Golden Road. Spring Split, MSI, Summer Split, World Championship. I think if you begin to include other competition, and maybe in the future we get more internationals and more internationals and more internationals, maybe the whole calendar year changes. I think it's important to be fair in what it is. Because at one point it was the whole calendar year, but at some point, if that part of the year is maintained, meaning Spring, MSI, Summer, Worlds is maintained, and you add things to that schedule, I don't think the idea of winning every tournament possible within the same year is something that should represent the Golden Road. Because historically, it just doesn't. If a team wins First Stand, MSI, and Worlds, and all of their splits possible, I think by point of comparison, it is something that is so much more difficult to do than whatever the Golden Road ever was. If you want to coin a new term for what that would be, I think that's perfectly fine. So someone is going on the Rainbow Road, someone's going on the Rainbow Road, someone's going on the Platinum Road, someone's going on the Diamond Road. That's fine by me. I just think now, I hope that the community agrees with me that in terms of preserving what the Golden Road means and what it should represent historically, I think changes to the calendar year shouldn't remove us from what those tournaments were. Which means, Yamato, you're such a Gen G glazer. For me, Gen G, in terms of spring split, getting number 1 seed out of your region to MSI, that's as good as you can win it. MSI winning, summer season winning, and then going on to the World Championship, that to me represents a golden road. They're playing the same volume of games in terms of how much is reduced. In the second round, they played 12 games, and in usual setups, you play 18. But the distance in the separation, I don't think matters. So for me, I hope the community can rally behind me and agree with me that spring, MSI, summer, and the World Championship should represent, of course, the golden road. Let me know what you guys think. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? I just want to be able to compare things aptly and not go insane by conversations like, oh, this team was closer, this team was closer. Yeah, but this team had to win 12 tournaments and they just won 11. It's like, yeah, but this team was just 1 game away. No, let's not do that. Let's maintain it the same way. The Grand Slam hasn't changed over the years. Why should the Golden Road? Thank you very much for listening to my TED Talk. Peace.